Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video about grade 9 math. In this video, we are continuing our topic on data, and here we're specifically going to look at some of the basic ways in which we analyze data sets. Now, the reason we do these kinds of analyses is to understand data sets better. And the reason we want to understand data sets better is because everything in life can be measured in data, and when you understand how something in real life works, you can make better decisions on how to improve it, how to make it better, and so on. So I'm doing this video in two parts. The first part I'm going to be talking about is about measures of central tendency. So if you missed what that means, go back to the previous video about data measures where I explained that. Okay? In the second part of this video, I'm going to be talking about ways in which we look at the spread of our data set, so measures of dispersion. Again, if you don't remember what that means, go back to the previous video where I explained that. Okay. Let's start with measures of central tendency, and we have three things here that can be similar, but they actually work in very different ways. We have the mean, the median, and the mode. And these three words, the only thing in common between them is that they start with the letter M, and they can be confusing sometimes, but let's break them down together. So the mean is simply the average value. So mean is always one value, okay? Well, all of them are basically one value. Mean is the average of all the values we have in the data set. So if we look at the data set I wrote here for this part, it's A, data set A equals data points 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, okay? So the mean would be adding all of them, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 4, and then dividing that sum by the total number of data points. Okay, so the number of data points is 5. We have 5 data points here. So we're dividing the sum of them, of their values, by how many there are. So the sum would be 14. It would be 14 over 5. If we do that on the calculator real quick, 14 divided by 5, we get 2.8. So the mean for this data set is 2.8. All right? Okay. The median is just the middle number. So if we look at the data set as a progress bar, so think of a progress bar in a game. It starts from 0, goes all the way up to 100, correct? The median is the data point at the 50% mark. That's all it is. Okay? So we want to find the 50%, the halfway point of our data set, and whatever value we see there, no matter what it is, that is our median. In this case, we just have 5 data points, so it's easy. The middle point would be here, 3. So our median here is 3. Okay? Again, in larger data sets, it could be more challenging to find the median. Okay, so the median is middle value. Okay? All right. The mode is something very different from the other two. The mode is which number or which value is most repeated in the data set. And that, in this case, it's 4. most repeated. All right. So the mode is 4. That's it. That's the difference. The mean is the average value, median is the middle value, and mode is the most repeated value. Okay? All right, let's move on to the next part. Now, in this part, we're going to be talking about how we can dissect a data set or divide it into parts. And what we do with data sets to look at dispersion, how the data set is spread out, is we divide it into quarters. So we have something here that we're introducing called quartiles. And quartiles, just coming from the word quarter. Okay, quarters. So think of data chunks. We're dividing our data set into chunks of 25% each. Right, so we start from the beginning, and here we have 8 data points. All right, so if we divide 8 by 2, because we counted them. I'm not thinking of 8 being the last value, just that we have 8 data points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so if we take that number divided by 4, apologies, we get 2 data points for each quarter. So we'll count 2 data points, and then that will be our first quarter. Okay, 2 more data points, second quarter. 2 more data points, third quarter. All right, and then what we do is we call our data points up to the first quarter, we call them Q1. All right, so our first quartile is called Q1. Our second quartile, you guessed it, it's called Q2, and this is Q3. Now, if we look at Q2 here, that position, this is the median position, right? The middle point. So more often than not, we call this point not the second quartile, just the median. Okay? And then the very beginning, the very first data point, we call it our minimum. And that makes sense, right? It just makes common sense. And the last point, the highest point, we call it our maximum. So we have a minimum value, we have the first quartile value, which is at 25%. Okay, minimum. First quartile is at 25%. We have the median, which is at 50%. And third quartile, so the new words here are minimum, maximum, first quartile, median. Then we have our third quartile, which is at 75%. Then we have our maximum value. I hope this video was useful. Do take your time with it. We're introducing some new terms and ideas. In the next video, we're going to be looking at how we take these values, these ideas of quartiles, and we draw them, we represent them with a diagram. Okay, this diagram is called the box and whisker diagram, and we're going to be introducing it in the next video. Please do subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed it, so that other people can see it as well. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.